there. Are you doing all the right things to get healthy and wondering what the heck? All this effort and hard work seem to be for nothing. You are not feeling more energetic, even though you're being careful with food and you're trying to exercise more and even maybe giving up some of those favorite treats. It makes you just want to throw your hands up. Hey, friends, Dory here. Hey, listen, in my last video, I started tackling those pesky hormones, the ones that correlate to our health and our longevity and basically our energy and our satisfaction in life. So if you missed that video, I'm going to suggest that you go watch that. It will set you up to really get started on some specific actions that can begin helping you work with your hormones to get healthy. And that's regardless of your current age, your hormonal stage, any health struggle that you're dealing with. And I started in that video with a single hormone and addressed one of 3 top hormones that you need to know about when you are working to improve your health. So you'll find the link to that video in the description below this one. In this video, we're going to look at the 3 hormones that are often considered our appetite or hunger hormones. If you're constantly feeling like you're hungry, or you never actually feel full or fully satiated, or you simply just don't know how to feel that natural hunger and fullness signal, this is going to be the video for you. Before we start, just a reminder that I am not a doctor, and though I have ample education and certifications in the health and wellness field and fitness, I encourage you to take what you hear today and check in with your medical professional. So after insulin, which is the #1 big gun hormone, the next in line on the big gun stage are 2 hunger hormones called leptin and ghrelin. Leptin basically signals the part of your brain that regulates appetite, and it tells it that it's full. It's an important hormone. So if you're constantly feeling like you're not full, leptin resistance might be occurring, which means that the message to stop eating isn't reaching your brain. And ultimately, this can result in overeating. Now, I'm not talking about the occasional time that you overindulge and then you feel like, oh, I'm full, right? Or I'm in pain. So one sign might be that if you're constantly eating more than you have in the past and you're still not feeling satisfied or full, leptin resistance might be a factor. Quite frankly, here's the deal. Unless you are doing extensive hardcore exercise, our caloric needs actually reduce or go down as we age. So you probably would naturally see yourself eating less. So if you're eating more because you're never full, that can be a sign of leptin resistance. So when this leptin resistance happens, your brain actually isn't getting the signal to stop eating. More leptin ends up getting produced. You eat more because of that, you gain weight, and it's really just a vicious cycle. And you may be wondering why or what causes leptin resistance. This is a bit unclear, but it has been attributed to inflammation, gene mutations, and obesity. Now, before we go off on obesity, I've done a YouTube video called Am I Obese? Basically on BMI and how an obese categorization might be a misnomer. But the reality remains that there seems to be a correlation between a heavier weight for your body and leptin issues. And that means that sensing fullness could be a problem for people who have higher weights than their bodies want, and it can lead to overeating. So how do we improve our leptin levels? Well, before I share how to do that, I want to address leptin's co-conspirator, ghrelin, because correcting both of these is accomplished in the same ways. So we'll get to what to do after we talk about ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is essentially the opposite of leptin. It's the hormone that sends a message to your brain indicating that your stomach is empty and it needs food. Its main function is to increase our appetite, causing you to feel like you need to eat. And normally ghrelin levels are highest right before eating and lowest right after a meal. Funny thing though, studies show that in overweight individuals, ghrelin levels actually seem to be lower, meaning it wouldn't show that you were hungry. However, those individuals tend to have a higher sensitivity or increased sensitivity that may also lead to overeating. It's just really another vicious cycle. So these appetite hormones are actually pretty recent discoveries. Leptin was just found in 1994 and ghrelin was only discovered in 1999, which means that there's plenty more research that's going to be done on these. And one note that I want to make is that if you are taking any statin drugs, typically to lower cholesterol is what those are for, there actually is evidence that statins can throw off both leptin and ghrelin in some way, shape, or form. Just a side note. So I want to touch on another hormone that regulates our fullness sensation and is typically linked with leptin, and that is CCK. It stands for cholecystokinin. Though it was discovered long ago as a hormone released in the small intestines at the outset of a meal or any eating experience, many studies are being done right now on CCK's ability to provide a fullness sensation. The studies being done lump these two, CCK and leptin, as a way to manage obesity by making sure that there's not resistance going on so that your body experiences fullness in the way that it should. Similarly to leptin and ghrelin, being overweight for your own body seems to cause an imbalance here, as well as having a diet that is high in saturated fats. Now remember, these are the fats that are the less desirable fats we often have in our Western diet. I bring this hormone into the discussion because it's possible we'll be hearing a lot more about this hormone as scientists continue to do research on how to manage our weight. Generally, they do this research so that they could figure out how to create the magic pill. So in talking about the magic pill, keep in mind in my Am I Obese video, weight is not necessarily the best indicator of health. There are plenty of skinny and very unhealthy people and plenty of robust people who are in better health. In other words, beware of the magic pill. I promise what you'll learn here might feel so simple that it'll feel like a magic pill. And that means you don't want to sit and wait for the magic pill. You can change your health right now with some of the simple techniques we talk about. So how do we improve our hunger fullness hormones, leptin, ghrelin, and the lesser known CCK? So here's the bad news, right? I have to come with some bad news, but it's just reality. The bad news is that there is no known treatment for the fullness hormones, leptin or CCK resistance. And I have not been able to locate any research on ghrelin resistance. There are, though, many lifestyle adjustments that seem to correlate to producing corrective levels of these hormones. The big thing is working to maintain a healthy weight. I know it's a catch-22, it's a vicious cycle. Research suggests that decreasing body fat actually corrects the leptin levels and possibly reduces that sensitivity to ghrelin. Here's the thing. I know you may be thinking, I'm trying to lose weight and I'm constantly hungry and I never get full. And how am I supposed to do this? Okay, if anything, I want you to start to just look at your fat intake. What does that look like? And you either want to consider reducing those saturated fats or changing it out. That looks like more fruits and veggies, leaner cuts of meat, and particularly what you might cook with. So if you're cooking often with butter, try cooking with spices and lemon juice or something with less fat in order to start to really get a handle on that fat. And of course, our bodies do produce fat when we have an excess amount of sugar. So beyond what you're eating, there are some ways to eat, like how you eat, that also seem to matter, particularly these hunger hormones. It'll seem counterintuitive, but the idea is to eat something every 4 hours. Now, that's not a license to have 4 ginormous meals a day, But basically, if you're having 2 meals and they're big meals because you can't feel hunger or fullness, split that out into 4, meaning you're eating more often. The thing with these 4 meals is you want at every single one of these to have a high quality protein. So this is having chicken or fish, nuts and seeds, egg whites, plant-based proteins. Then the next thing would be to consider addressing your carb intake. When you address and lower your carb intake while you increase your protein, that actually seems to have a positive effect on leptin and ghrelin, and this is based on research. So enough about the food, right? Because you may have checked out again. Check back in. Here we go, because this is the good stuff, because we all know the food things. So here's another way to correct these hunger and fullness hormones. Sleep quality. Now, I've mentioned sleep as the most underrated health determinant. It is. So the sleep quality, it appears that leptin and ghrelin levels correlate to sleep quality, especially if you are carrying extra weight. Go back to the first video because I go through a whole laundry list of ways to improve your sleep quality in there. In addition to how often you eat, what you're eating, the sleep quality, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the next one is exercise regularly. And here's the deal. If you want to just do one thing that's going to help correct your health and your hormones, it's movement daily. This does not have to be formal. You do not need a trainer. Your body knows how to move. You can just put one foot in front of the other, and you do that consistently. One foot goes in front of the other for 20 to 30 minutes a day. And I prefer to do that in nature, but in case you can't, you can use a treadmill. You could go to a store. There's so many ways to do this. This single small action will have some of the biggest benefits overall. And just my own last final side note suggestion, I did not find research on this topic, but I would also suggest that you ensure that you are adequately hydrated with water and non-sugar, non-alcoholic drinks. It's not that you can't have the alcohol, it's just make sure that you're fully hydrated with water. The reason I bring this up is that so often being underhydrated causes us to feel hungry and not be able to feel full. If you aren't where you want to be with regard to health, I do offer free one-on-one health strategy sessions on occasion. Click the link to schedule that and see if there is availability. And you can click that often and check, because my availability just goes with based on what's going on. You can also reach out to me on Instagram, dory.yourfoodwisdom. And you can just direct message me there, or join up with my private Facebook community and you can direct message me there, or even throw a message in there. So all of those links are found in the description below this video. One more thing, this video is part of a series on hormones and health. So make sure that you subscribe and also click that bell below that's right next to the subscribe, so that you don't miss the rest of the stories on hormones in the upcoming videos. And that's it for today. All right, see you on the next one.